What's going on, family? It's your main man, 100 Grand, Kim Blanks Harrell, and we are having a live webinar coming up on Saturday, May 14th, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the topic this month is dividend stocks. Yeah, that's right. We're talking all about dividend stocks. Those stocks that not only give you your cake, but some of that icing too. So make sure you tap in to dividend stocks presented by Stock Market 101, part of the Bullish Institute's Financial Literacy Workshop Series.
May I have your attention, please?
And boom. Welcome, everyone. I'm on the phone with Mr. Darryl E. McCullough. Let's say your name right, correct?
Absolutely.
He is a writer, director, independent film producer, and indie publisher. You are a busy man, sir. You are a very...
Oh, hey.
On top of that, he is the founder of the Perfectly Sane Productions and McCullough's Find Antiques. Thank you for joining the Entrepreneur Kickback and Kick It Back with us today, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Man, I'm fantastic, and I'm always happy to be here. You know, I love podcasting, just to be honest with you. So every time I get the opportunity to talk and share knowledge with one another, you know, I'm happy. I'm very content. You know, on our show, we share knowledge, wisdom, experience, skills to help us be better entrepreneurs. You know, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, you know, you take certain tools and knowledge and wisdom, skills, etc., and you apply these to your life and you apply these to your business. And I'll give y'all a little background because I've been podcasting for a little while now, and I've been pod fading. You know, I met Mr. McCullough right before I recorded my very first episode. And we met at a meetup, and all these podcasters was just talking to everyone. And then you were pouring into me. You was pouring into me, you know. You was telling me where I should go to start here. You know, I should, you know, you just giving me tips, you know, just being helpful. And I never forgot it. And I always took it with me. And you see where I'm at now, Mr. McCullough. You see where I'm at now. I took what you said to heart. And I moved forward and I executed. Took some years, but here's where I am.
I appreciate that. Yep, I was just trying to, whatever knowledge I have to help make it easier for somebody, you know, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. So the same here. And I want to put up a disclaimer for anyone who's listening here. We had some technical difficulties on the back end. So we may lose Mr. McCullough, but we're going to make it work. We're going to get this information out to you guys. But what I want to start with is I want to talk about your production company, your film production company. First question is usually the one I always ask. What inspired you to get into films?
I don't know if you're familiar with him. It's what do they call it? Black. It's the whole dealing with like Superfly, Blackula, that era. There was a guy named Rudy Ray. It was the worst edited films you ever seen in your life. And then when I started getting into films, like, man, I can do that. And when I started working with other people, I just did not have the confidence to do everything myself. So I went through people who were trying to live there, and I saw some of the most poorly produced, just no business skills, experienced that. I said, hey, you know, I can fail on my own. And that's when I started my own production company.
So you was inspired by Mama Waldy?
Mama Waldy.
I'm
from Blackula.
Yeah,
That's from Blackula.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that era, yes.
Yes.
You get 5 points. You said Mama. You probably looked it up on the internet.
Oh no, my mother made sure I watched that. I'll tell you a story. Like you said, it's like you love it, but you laugh at it at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If he not biting you, he gonna slap. He gonna slap the taste out of your mouth, and it was weirdly enjoyable.
Well, Dolomite does that too, so you make sure you check out Dolomite too. No, I was saying that I believe the gentleman's name in Blackula is William Marshall, who played before he died. He played in Pee Wee's Playhouse,
Hmm.
Captain Cartoon, and then after that, Larry Fishburne did it.
Dang.
So just a little background on him.
Oh dang! I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yep.
that. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all that whole time period and everything with all those blaxploitation, that's what they called it, blaxploitation films. That's what inspired me to get into filmmaking.
So you say that you can you noticed all the problems within this industry.
Yeah, once you try to do it on your own and you go through somebody else living their dream, you have to deal. I dealt with egos. I dealt with people coming into the meetings with mirror sunglasses on. Don't try to sleep with everybody in the whole cast. You have to be professional. So once I saw these poor examples, that's when I started doing my own thing.
When what was the first year you started your very first film?
Oh, wow. I'd say early 2000. Now, mind you, I did projects for other people, but my very first project was early 2000. That was a short film called Holiday Lie. Deals with the very first lie that a parent usually tells their child is, the belief in Santa Claus. Went through that in my own life. I didn't find out there was no Santa Claus till I was about 22 years old. But I mean, joking, but so I wanted to write a story about it, and it dealt with a marriage and the problems in this marriage. It was an interracial marriage to boot. It would probably do very well. That's all you see on television. So that's what I did, and it was called Holiday Lie, and that was I won an award for that, best screenplay at an independent film festival, and then I got a budget for a feature film, and that was Deadly Desperations. But I love black and white, so all my films are black and white. I'm getting ready to do a project in Toledo, actually, a documentary, my first documentary, and that's going to be in black and white. I like that noir type look.
When I hear someone say, I make a film, to me, it's so fascinating because I wouldn't even know where to start. In order for you to say, okay, you said Holidays Lies was your first one. So, all right, I'm about to do this, and you're going to need a number of things. And I'm sure there was some barriers. Like, what was the barriers for you to start and finish this project, and how did you overcome them?
Money.
Mm.
If you have money, you can do whatever needs to be done. It may be wrong, but that's the whole thing when it comes to filmmaking. I don't have a camera. I don't have sound equipment. I have a script. So I went to a guy. I was on a film shoot in Detroit, and I met this guy. He had a camera, sound equipment. He had all that. He was together. And I was supposed to be doing the project with the guy in Cleveland, but it just was going at a slower pace. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I met a guy in Detroit. He had all the equipment. I showed him my script, and 3 weeks, I had some cash, and I had a lot of people who promised me, "Oh, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna do that." That didn't happen. You have to do things on your own. You got to have your own resources. Don't depend on other people, because the people will let you down. And it worked, and it worked so well that we had enough resources to do another project. And I would have done other projects. It's just that, I also work full time, and Sometimes when you work, 10, 11 hours a day, you're tired. You don't, you got to have that creative time and energy.
You know.
But the thing I've learned, we make the time to do what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how tired we are. We make the time to do what we want to do. Bowling, video games, whatever we're into, we make that time. So I just flip it. Okay, let me do this into something creative to benefit me and my family. The hard part was I was married. I used to listen to this guy, and this is going to be wrong to say, but they say that marriage and children are dream killers. Like you can't, little side projects that you wanted to do when you're married with children. You just can't. I didn't discover all these projects and this enjoyment until after I was early in my marriage. I mean, and I'm just thankful that my wife never, I'm taking money out of the house to do this project and to do that project, and she never complained. The bills are paid, but she never stifled me.
I bet that's probably what drew her to you, more than likely.
Yeah, but I never filled her head with dreams. I'm like, look, this is what I do. This is my job. I also am creative. My wife actually helped me. I mean, when we met, we were just friends. I got caught in the friend zone, and I told her I needed somebody to type up this book that I was writing. I needed the manuscript typed up, and she did it. And she said, "Man, I feel so much closer to you because of your book." And the next thing you know, we started dating. It got me out of the friend zone, and we got married.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good
We
job,
got
sir.
20. We got 27 years. It was
Good
27 years ago.
good job. Let's go. All right.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You more entrepreneur than you think, okay? Okay, you being creative and starting a family all in one motion. That's full circle for you.
Hey, which was the name of our podcast? Wow, that's right, full circle. Yep.
No, I used to listen, man. I used to listen. Okay. I'm a go on because I'm having a little bit too much fun here. I don't want to take up your time. All right. You said you need to get them. You got the money.
Hmm.
All right. Now you got the money. Or how about this? If someone's coming behind you and they saying, hey, you know what I'm saying, maybe I want to start a short film. I got a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? I got a few dollars. Maybe I got a camera. Maybe a few people to believe in me. What are some tangible steps a person can take in order to start their film production?
Have a script. Don't just have an idea. Have a script and get people to believe in that script. And once they believe in it, they'll support you. You'll have a director, you'll have an engineer, you'll have a sound guy. They'll come. But a lot of places nowadays with modern technology, they're a one-stop shop. You literally just walk in, I have a script. I would like for your company to shoot my project, and how much would you charge, and how many days is it going to take for this, and all that. I mean, you have to map it out. It's not as I want to get a house built. Uh, okay, I'm going to get this wood. I'm going to do this. No, you don't have to do that. You go to the company. Here's the models. You pick the model, and they build it. I mean, so it's a little easier now. It's much more easier now. It's just about the money.
Okay. Any companies? Can you recommend any companies?
I only deal. I mean, I live in Michigan, but every project that I do, and he changed the name, but it's a Cleveland film rental company. When people do projects in Cleveland, they go to him. His name is Donald Gregory, and we've been cool for, I don't know, at least 20 years. And Donald Gregory does all of my projects. His crew, we were just there. He has a studio. You go in. It's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing ever. It makes it really easy.
So like, okay, so if I was like, all right, I want Patent Film Productions,
Mm-hmm.
I can call your boy up with a script.
And he drive right to you with the group, with everything, and do what you got to do. But I mean, there are people in Detroit that do that. You just got to find them.
Okay, and what are those type of companies called?
You just looking up film production. They do. You know, everybody's not making a film, especially where we're at right now. But you know, it's getting better, and they're businesses. Hey, I want to do a commercial for my car company or whatever. Those are the people that they go see. They just make films on the side.
Ah, oh, you got my wheels turning. This happens every episode, Mr. McCullough. Every episode, somebody
Yeah.
tell me something, and then my minds get blown, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. So it's really tangible, and that's the point of me talking to everyone. You know, to show how tangible things really are is just knowing where to go.
Hmm.
Yeah. So up until this point, how many films have you done so far?
I've worked on probably, I mean, with videos, like rock videos and different things, but again, for other people. And then for myself, I don't know, I've done, I'd say, maybe 8 to 10 projects,
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 on my own. And you just have to have a plan. You know, you have to realize a lot of these poorly written, poorly produced projects are, some of them get on Amazon. At the time, I just knew how to, okay, I can put this together, I can do this. Okay, now what? Now what do? You really have to have a plan to market it. It's the same thing when I did my books. Okay, you got a book published, self-published. Okay, now what are you going to do? You sit back, you put it on Amazon, and you wait for the money to come in. It don't happen like that. You have to have a plan. You have to market it. You have to hustle.
Let's touch on the books. Same question, like because you're a writer as well. So like, okay, you got your book written out. You know, you written your book out, and it's formatted and ready to go.
Hmm.
What steps do you have to take now in order to get your book to market?
The books actually were before the film. I was 14 with an ulcer, 16 with an ulcer, and the doctor said I needed to do something to alleviate the stress that I was going through. So I started writing poetry, short stories, and then when I started writing very long things and to go into the book, I was like, man, this could be a film, and that's how all that happened. It was just a stepping stone, but I went through a company. You have to be very careful with self-publishing companies. A lot of them, they just want to take your money. Thankfully, I got with a company. They put my book in there. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all that. It sounds great. Oh, you'll be available in 20,000 markets. Okay, that's great. But they have to know who you are. They have to be able to find you. So nobody just searches for, oh, let me just put in a random name. You really have to get out there and hustle. And when you're an independent, a self-publishing, I go to book fairs. I went to New York. That's where I learned a whole lot at the Harlem Book Fair. How to hustle. A guy just walked up, it's like 200 authors, and the guy got $20. He's like, you got 1 minute to tell me why I should buy your book. I'm like, wow, okay. It taught me how to hustle. I'll never forget what Harlem, New York taught me. You got to push that. You got to be available. People want you to sign the book. You have to get out there and sell your book. It will not sell for itself if you're a self-published author.
Okay, is this ain't for the lighthearted at all. Um,
Oh, absolutely.
okay, okay. So, you only publish on Amazon, or have you ever made it into a bookstore? Have you went down that route?
I've been in a few libraries. Bookstores will not bring self-published authors into their store. It doesn't work like that. They're part of a corporation, and they have, okay, you can only sell these type of books from this, and this and that. They don't take people off the streets unless, is your uncle own the store. It's very hard. They may do book fairs to help self-published authors, but it's very rare that you will get in a bookstore. Not to get too deep, but my father was killed in a car accident when I was 6 months. So all I had was like photos and stories of him from different people. So I was like, man, I want my children to know me even before I had children. I was like, and if I ever have children, I want them to know about me, know how I thought about certain things and my opinions. And it all inspired me, man. So when you can have a book, your children are never appreciated until much later in life. But it's like, hey, you want to know something about your daddy? Boom, here's 400 pages. Writing a book and someone purchasing that book from you, a film, somebody taking the time to watch your film. I tell people it's like the closest I've come to giving birth to a child. I don't know, I can't experience that, but it's a joy, man, to say, hey, I did that. So, it's a proud feeling.
Okay, so the books transitioned to film,
Mm-hmm.
then the films transitioned to African art.
The films transitioned into me getting more comfortable. The film and books getting comfortable to being in front of the camera, to talking to people. So when podcasting came out, which I really didn't want to do, it was a friend who said, hey, we should do a podcast. I was like, what's a podcast? And then he knows I'm the type of guy, I will put it together. I will find the connections rather than spending $500 for equipment to be in the basement at that time. That's not what we wanted to do. I said, let's go to a studio, boom, boom, boom. And, then he quit. And then I was like, hey, I like this. I like doing this. And I just took it over and we kept it going for 3 years. So with that, but we all have our little hobbies. I collect Ultraman figures. That's the little Japanese.
Mm.
I got Green Lantern. We all collecting stamps. We all have something. I would go to different stores. One of my favorite stores, I would see African art, and I was like, man, this is interesting. And people who know me know that I'm about the biggest sellout in the world. I'm a brown noser. I do what I got to do. I lost pride, not only within myself, but in my race. African art reminded me. It keeps me grounded. And I started learning more, learning more. I have a lot of African art. I tell people it's levels to art collecting. Just because you go to Target and you see some African art and you buy it and you come home and you say, oh, I collect African art. That's a different level of African art. That's like a 1. If you go to a museum and you see that African art that you'll never be able to afford, that's a 5. I'm about a 3. I have good quality African art. I got connections in Africa. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of money, but it's a lot of fun.
You say you have connections in Africa. Is that like do you go somewhere in Africa to look for certain art pieces to buy?
Well, you can go on eBay if if there's a tribe. There's so many African tribes. It's like, okay, you go over here. Ghana says, hey, look at me. Cameroon says, look at me. Mali says, look at me. All these different tribes that have carvers from generations down taught how to carve African art. And I like a certain tribe. I like things from the Ivory Coast. I like things from Mali. So you can go on eBay and find some of them, and some of them will be decent. But when you pay their huge price and their shipping costs, I happen to find a guy on an African website. He said, "Dude, I'm here. I live here. What tribe are you looking for?" And I told him he speaks English, and we just became really, really cool. I was looking at this thing on YouTube, and a woman, African piece. And she said, well, what did you give the man who carved it? She says, oh, he wanted a Nike hat and whatever it was. I was like, really? Wow. This beautiful piece. And he wanted they're starving. A lot of these countries. It's cheaper than when you get back to the States. People sell it for 3 times the value, 4 times the value. It's crazy.
Mm.
So I'm like, look, I can do that, and I ain't trying to break nobody. If somebody has an appreciation for African art and they're interested in collecting, look me up. Now, what I did also on that was in my travels and in my connections, I went to a store and I told a woman, a white woman, I said, I collect African art. And she's like, no, you don't. I said, yes, I do. She said, oh, black people don't collect African art. And it was insulting, but it was the truth because I don't know a lot of black people who collect African art. Most of my clients are white, and I never understood that. I do have some black clients, white people love and collect African art, and it has nothing to do with their history. It's just crazy, but black people find it spooky. Not all, you know.
Well,
So it's just crazy.
yes, okay, I get what you're saying. That goes back to that what Jay said what Jay-Z said in 444, how he made the mistake on buying the car instead of a piece of artwork.
Right. Oh yeah. Appreciate. You know what? Don't get me wrong. I sometimes I get in the mood for a good hood movie. Okay. And when I was growing up, a good hood movie would be like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Baby Boy. And in Baby Boy, the guy's trying to tell these kids about guns and butter and how black people, you want shoes, rims, things that depreciate as soon as you buy it. But artwork appreciates and continues to appreciate. It puts you in a whole different level. And I was like, you know what? I want stuff that appreciates. And that's how it all came about. Baby Boy.
It's interesting that you said some people say they find it spooky.
Yeah, my wife collects. My wife, thankfully, has a collection. I told her everybody needs a hobby, and she started collecting African American rag dolls. It's only a certain type that she collects, a certain style. And some people, oh my God, these are absolutely beautiful. She has about 100 of them. I did a video on her showing the pieces, and she deals with the same thing that I deal with: how people are afraid or turned off by their own history. It's just crazy. I don't know any other race of people that are like that. Mexicans love their heritage. Indians love their heritage. They had all that stuff. Black people, nah, it's a little different. It's just a little different.
Well, I think really is mainly the lack of education.
Mm, yeah,
You know, um, but if listen to the entrepreneur kickback, y'all need to pay attention to some African art, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, do a Google search after you listen to this. Look into it. What Mr. McCullough just said, you can find tribes on eBay. Just to start, just to look, just to
go to the museum, and when you see something, you say, I don't like that, I don't like that, but I like this. This is interesting. I like it's Bowley tribe, so it's very middle of the road African art. Now, some African art is not as appealing to me because if you want to get deep, you can get real deep. But it's like, okay, this is very in the conservative area, in the middle of the road. You go to the library, you go to the museum, and you say, I like this tribe. And you look that tribe up and you go on eBay, search that tribe, and you'll be surprised what comes up, what you can start collecting.
And then you also do that for other people, not
Yes,
just yourself. And then they pay you a commission to do that for them.
absolutely. The consignment, they may have an African piece, and I'm trying to grow my clientele. I know some people, you know, some people have things and look, I just don't know what to do with this. And if I don't take everything, but if I see something and I know it's of value, that I can move it versus them putting it on eBay and letting it sit there for 2 years. I can move it.
Wow, this is interesting. This is this is
So
this is interesting. You pretty much just took your hobbies and made businesses out of
I got a problem. I love to collect. I'm not a hoarder. Not yet.
them.
But it's like, okay, you need to do something with this. You need to do something with this. I have my little YouTube videos to try to educate people. I have a little small following on that. It's fun. I literally go in the basement, I mean, all throughout the house is African art to touch that heritage. It's not like I have a piece that's 500 years old. All African art, they're copies. They're copies of a copy of a copy of a copy from something that was made, 500 years ago. But you want good copies. You want great carvers. It's the smell of it. It's just crazy. So I did a little DNA thing, and when it told me where I was from and this and that, man, I have some of that art in my house. It's like a feeling that I can't describe.
Hmm.
Now, would I go to Africa? My connections in Africa and the things that they experience is like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna just chill here in Michigan. Um, but one day, maybe, who knows?
Okay, but still, you got this piece from this land that you're from. It's like vibranium, if you will, something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
No, I'm with you on the nerd thing too, man. I'm with you. Yeah, I used to collect video games, and I just sold an Ultraman video game not too long ago.
And that's what my son and I, we all have our little hobbies, and he likes a lot of Japanese anime and different things like that. And we started collecting Ultraman figures together. We did a YouTube video about it, and he actually knows more about them than I do. I'll be like, look, what's this one called again? Who's this one? Who's that one? And it's great that we have something that we can do together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like it's a good way. It's a good and fun way to you can make some money and or hedge some money
Hmm.
because the money appreciates. So if you buy one, two, three pieces, whatever the worth, you're going to get your money back at some point. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, when we were, uh, when you saw what I had in the basement, that's just like a tiny part of the basement. I mean, the rest of it's just Africa throughout the house. It's not, it's not to the point where it's ridiculous, but people do say, "Oh, when I come to your house, it's like going to a museum."
You do display that on your YouTube channel. First, how can they find you on YouTube?
Just search Darryl McCullough on YouTube, African art collector, and I'm gonna pop up. There's not many of us.
Okay, tap in, y'all. Get educated in the world of art and African art to be exact. Get ready to wrap it up. No, I kept more time. I got more of your time than I was initially trying to get.
It's not a problem, Manny. I'm honored.
All right, and I thank you. After your up until this point, your film production, your indie publishing, you already know the hustle. You done found, in my opinion, I say you found that sweet spot in collecting
Hmm.
to where it's not harmful.
Right.
But that's because you've done other things first. You put yourself in a position. And now you can collect freely and get all these things that you like, make money, hedge your money, however you want to see it.
Hmm.
From today,
Absolutely.
from today, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Huh. That's an interesting question, but I was such a late bloomer. There's really nothing that I could really tell myself other than keep some money in the bank,
Mhm.
don't trust people,
Mhm.
trust the way that they act. Women, don't sweat that, because as long as you keep a good job and your nose clean, they'll come around. They'll be around.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it. I'm what I was when I was 20 is what I am now. I just didn't have the resources.
And and there it is, y'all. There it is. Pretty much he just said just fine tune of who he already is. Okay, and last, I know you put out your YouTube channel. If they want to connect you any other way, how can they connect with you?
Hey, I'm approachable. Just email me at sanepoet, SANEPOET at MSN.com. That's it.
That's it. All right. Thank you, Mr. McCullough.
Hey, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Entrepreneurial Kickback. We are signing out. I'd like to thank you guys again for listening. If you need any additional information, please follow our show notes and continue to kick back with us.